Hi, I'm Peipei. In this tour of Peipei channel, I'll get up Tokyo and head to the northern land of Hokkaido for a sightseeing tour. Hokkaido is known as one of the most popular destinations for tourists from abroad with its unique natural beauty and delicious food. Did you know that there is an indigenous people called the Ainu that has lived in mainly Hokkaido since ancient times? It is difficult to experience the world of Ainu on an ordinary tour, for they used to have a different language, culture, and religion. In 2020, Upopoy opened near New Chitose Airport, the gateway to Hokkaido, as a facility where visitors can learn about and experience the Ainu culture. Why don't you visit this facility, the only one of its kind in Japan, to learn about the culture of the Ainu people, to feel the diversity of Japanese culture, and discover another Japanese charm. Upopoy is located in the southwestern area of Hokkaido, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, and is about a 40 minutes train ride from New Chitose Airport. It is also about 1 hour and a half by train from Sapporo, the center of tourism in Hokkaido. After arriving at the airport, I will take a JR train and transfer to Minami Chitose Station on the way to a station called Shiraoi. Enjoy the vast view from the train window, which is unique to Hokkaido. After a while, we can see the coastline of the Pacific Ocean nearby. Enjoying the scenery, we arrive at Shiraoi Station in no time. The atmosphere in front of Shiraoi Station is peaceful and quiet. From the station, it takes about 10 minutes to reach Upopoy on foot. You can also take a bus from the station, which is very convenient. Here, we are at the entrance of Upopoy. To prevent the spread of the COVID-19, tickets for Upopoy must be purchased in advance. You'd better check the availability and timetable of the day's events on the English-speaking website before you go. The spacious grounds of Upopoy cover an area of about 100,000 square meters and are divided into a shopping and restaurant area at the entrance, followed by the National Museum of the Ainu people, and at the far end, an area where visitors can experience the Ainu way of life, and an exchange area where they can watch dances and performing arts. By the way, Upopoy means to sing in large numbers in the Ainu language. After passing through the entrance that represents the culture of the Ainu people who have lived with nature, we come to the restaurant area, but let's hold off on eating the delicious food and go forward. After purchasing a ticket at the ticket booth and entering the museum, we see a huge building on our right. This is a museum, but it too is under timed admission restrictions, so let's visit it later. As we stroll around the park, we see this large lake in the middle of the grounds. This lake is called Lake Poroto, which means big lake in the Ainu language. In the winter, giant white-tailed eagles appear here, and many fish and birds live here, making it a valuable natural habitat. As a piece of trivia, there are still many place names that are derived from the Ainu language, and the word Sapporo is the same as the word poro in Lake Poroto. The word poro means big, and Sapporo is a place name derived from the Ainu word for a big dry river. As I was strolling around, thinking about the connection between Ainu culture and Hokkaido, I realized that it was almost time for an important event to enjoy Upopoy to the fullest, so I hurried to the experience exchange area. Here, you can watch traditional Ainu performing arts, such as an old Ainu dance, registered as an UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage, mukuri instrument performances, and short animated films. The number of seats is limited and numbered tickets are distributed in advance, so it's a good idea to time your visit so that you don't miss any of the events you want to see. Unfortunately, you cannot take pictures of the events themselves, but the unique Ainu songs, dances, and animations depicting myths that can be seen in this hall will give you a sense of the spiritual system of the Ainu people, who believe that the deity called Kamui dwells in everything in nature, and who have been living in harmony by expressing their gratitude to Kamui in every aspect of their daily lives. In the facility next to the hall, a dome-shaped screen called Kamui Eyes allows visitors to experience a real perspective of Kamui, who appears in the form of a Stella's sea eagle or fox. Now, we come to a traditional craft workshop called the Ikaraushi in the Ainu language. We are greeted by a giant wood-carved bear, a famous product of Ainu craftsmanship. You can see up close the traditional Ainu crafts of carving and weaving mainly using wood, and there are also events where you can experience them yourself. On this particular day, young craftsmen were carving sword sheaths and tools used in rituals. The unique Ainu patterns have been handed down from generation to generation, with each region and tribe having its own regional design, and each design has its own meaning, but many of the meanings are already unknown. In fact, the Ainu culture is currently facing a crisis that could lead to its extinction due to a decrease in the number of people passing it down. This Upopoy workshop has a role to play in training the next generation of craftsmen and passing on the techniques. Here, you can see the embroidery on clothes for important events such as rituals, weddings, and funerals. In the past, the Ainu people used to make clothes from cloth woven from wood and glass fibers, or from cotton acquired through trade with the people of Honshu. Their embroidery designs are also fun to look at, with a variety of designs in each region. The most important part of the Ainu embroidery patterns is to make the horns called kirau at the end. This horn seems to have the meaning of protecting against disease and evil spirits that try to enter into life. Other than that, if the timing is right, I would also recommend a children's event where you can try your hand at using a bow and arrow with an explanation of the tools used by the Ainu for hunting. Now, after the workshop, we arrive at an area lined with traditional Ainu houses called chise. There are 5 traditional thatched houses lined up in a village called kotan. The interior of each chise is open to the public. The inside is air-conditioned and modernized for tourists, but the traditional hearths are still there. Here, you can watch a demonstration of traditional lullabies and mouse harp called mukuri up close. Listening to the mysterious music, you'll be intrigued by the traditional Ainu performing arts, which are even more unique than those of Japan, a country with a unique culture in the world. There are many interesting items on display in the room, including traditional hunting tools and shoes made of salmon skin. Among them, aren't you wondering what these curled white udon objects that are displayed inside the house and around the hearth are? This is called Inau, and it is an important tool used in rituals to mediate between kami or ancestors and humans. I was surprised to learn that it was all carved out of a single udon stick. Outside of chise, you can experience the traditional games of the Ainu children. In this age of computer games and amusement, it is refreshing and fun to experience such simple games. Now it is time for our reservation, so let's head to the National Ainu Folk Museum. The museum is divided into 6 themes: language, world, life, history, work, and interaction, with many items related to Ainu culture on display. The exhibits in the large hall are well written in multiple languages, so you'll be able to learn about the culture and history of the Ainu people in detail. In fact, there is a sad side to the history of the Ainu. In the Meiji era, the Japanese central government promoted the policy of Japanization of the Ainu people and implemented laws and policies that made it impossible for the Ainu to continue their language and traditional way of life, and persecuted Ainu culture. Unfortunately, due to the effect of such government policies, there is still discrimination against Ainu people when it comes to marriage and employment. In this exhibition, you can learn about the harsh history of the Ainu people. Upopoy is an important facility for preserving Ainu culture for future generations and making it known to as many people as possible. After learning so much about the history and the culture of the Ainu, let's experience a delicious food culture. The warm udon restaurant at the entrance, Cafe Rimuse, is a great place to enjoy traditional Ainu food. I ordered a potofu with salmon and lots of vegetables called chepo hao. The taste of salmon is very simple and delicious and is suitable for anyone's palate. If you want to try another unusual food, I recommend the grilled Benson skewers sold in the food court here. In Japan, deer have not been commonly eaten until now, but for the Ainu people, it was a precious gift from the mountains to be hunted. This was the first time I ate deer meat, and it was delicious and not at all smelly. At the end of the tour, be sure to stop by the souvenir store to pick up some great souvenirs to remember the Ainu. They also sell the mouse harp, mukuri, that we saw being played earlier. If you want to try your hand at it, this is a place for you. Many of the items with Ainu designs are only available here, so they make great souvenirs. At Upopoy, the only place in Japan where the culture of the Ainu people is passed down from generation to generation, you'll discover a different side of Japanese culture that is different from what tourists from abroad imagine. That's for sure. If you're planning a trip to Hokkaido, you should definitely visit. Ilang kalapte.